This has got some significant historical ties. In June of 1950, the North Koreans invaded South Korea, and a task force, a United Nations task force, got together and said, no, you can't do this. The North Koreans did not want to take back that particular action. And as a result, a force was put together under the strategic leadership of General Douglas MacArthur. On September 15th, 1950, just over the horizon off a beach called Inchon. And by the way, that's the Inchon International Airport now sits on that particular piece of property. And if you're flying into Seoul, you'll actually see that particular beach. This force appeared just before dawn over the horizon, and it consisted of American and Australian ships. This became a landmark invasion, a landmark military operation in several different manners, several different ways. First, it was the first amphibious invasion. There were helicopters on top of those ships, and literally United States Marines got inside those helicopters. They lifted off the decks of those ships and landed on hill number 812 on the beach called Inchon. The Inchon invasion was landmark and strategic and historic in that it was ultimately effective. The invasion gave way. The North Koreans were divided, and it was a very, very successful operation that began what we know as the Korean conflict. This particular piece captures the sounds, the sights, hopefully even the smells of that particular event. If you can imagine just on that beautiful, pristine beach, a little Korean child maybe playing their flute, and all of a sudden the beautiful sounds of the waves are interrupted by these mechanical birds, something that child has never seen before, and all of a sudden this invasion, this war ensues. On a personal note, if you allow me to be just the son of a United States Army veteran, career Army man, my father's first initiative, his first conflict in the United States military was in Korea in 1950. And so this has very special meaning to me personally. When my dad passed away in April of 2000, later that year I had a Veterans Day concert that I was programming and conducting, and I wanted to make sure I featured music from each of the conflicts to honor all the veterans in the audience. And I found that there was very little. There was a Korean War Veterans March, but there was very little written about the Korean conflict. And with that in mind, and to honor my father and help me through that healing process that one goes through, I wrote that particular piece. We premiered it at Troy University in Troy, Alabama. It was a very, very special moment, and I've conducted it literally hundreds of times since then. And each and every time I think of my father and all those servicemen and women who served in Korea and also in Vietnam. I don't know if there are any Korean and Vietnam vets in the audience tonight, but I do want to thank you for your service. For those of you that may not know, they did not get the ticker tape parade. They did not get the thank you. And so I hope in some small way through the performance of this piece this evening that those that served in Korea and Vietnam, will take my eternal thanks and our eternal thanks for your service. And I hope you enjoy this particular piece dedicated to you and my father.